welcome to Stuff and Things with Chris. I'm Chris. So today I thought I'd do something a little different. I'd like to call it the So on today's RedBox double feature, thought I'd start off just kind of talking about why I like RedBox. So I don't trust the media, and that means I don't trust any part of it, whether it's the news or anything reported in the internet or anywhere else, or any trailers or commercials for a movie. Sometimes they look like they're just going to be terrible, sometimes I'm not sure. So instead of going out and blowing my hard-earned money in an actual theater, I wait for it to come out on RedBox, and I get $1.50's worth of entertainment, sometimes 50% off. So that's usually a pretty good deal, actually. So that's no different with these two movies, Zombieland DoubleTap and Gemini Man. So let's start off with this one. So Zombieland DoubleTap is a sequel to Zombieland. Now Zombieland came out 10 years ago. And why it took so long to get a sequel, nobody knows. But it has Jesse Eisenberg, has Emma Stone, has Woody Harrelson, and they play this little group of survivors who kind of run into each other and, you know, fight off zombies. And it fits in the same genre as Shaun of the Dead. It's a set in the zombie apocalypse, but it's also pretty funny. It's got a lot of jokes in it. And the first Zombieland was really good. So if you liked the first Zombieland, the second one is pretty much exactly the same thing. There's really not anything different here at all. Absolutely nothing. They try to add in some romance elements, which are a little odd. They don't really work. But, you know, whatever. Everybody's got to hook up with somebody in this movie for some reason. So Jesse Eisenberg's character, who plays Columbus, you know, he's still with Emma Stone's character, who goes by Nevada, and they get together. They're on again, off again, and they end up getting married. Tennessee, which is Woody Harrelson's character, he meets Michelle Rodriguez's character. I don't remember what her name is. Why these people don't have real names, I never understood. It doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, they're in this, whoa, we're in the zombie apocalypse. We can't call anybody by their real name because we'll get attached that way. And I get that for the four characters from the first movie who are traveling together. But how do all these other people know to do that? I mean, we run into characters that they've never met before, and they just call themselves by whatever city they came from. It seems really strange and odd that message has kind of been disseminated throughout the entire country. Whatever. So there's some, you know, everybody's got to pair off and have a love interest in this movie. There's a weird couple of, like, 15 minutes where there's some kind of doppelganger thing where Luke Wilson has a guy just like Jesse Eisenberg's character, and Luke Wilson's character is just like Woody Harrelson's character. I don't know. They play this weird thing where they kind of look like mirror images of each other, and everybody's kind of like, haha, isn't that weird? Oh yeah, huh? And then the Luke Wilson and his buddy turn into zombies and get killed, so I didn't really understand the point of that 20 minutes. Whatever. Basic plot is the same as the first one. They're trying to find some place to call home and some place to go, and one of the members of the group, the Emma Stone's sister, whose name I can't remember, it's not really important. She's got a very small part in this movie. I mean, if you were annoyed by her in the first movie, don't worry, she's hardly in this one. And she kind of just takes off one day with this hippie dude named Berkeley, and they're going to this hippie compound thing that somehow was able to construct an entire society in the middle of a zombie apocalypse without attracting any kind of attention. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about facts, things that would actually happen. It's just there. Just happened. So they go and look for her. They go and find her. Then you have the inevitable, well, all the people here don't have guns. We just operate on love and peace and all this. And of course, you know, the inevitable happens. The zombie hordes find them, and then these people who are pacifists have to figure out how they're going to survive, and it takes our four main characters to band together and help them. And then Michelle Rodriguez comes along and helps save also in her monster truck of death as she runs over hundreds of zombies in a giant monster truck. I don't know. They're trying to go, I guess, over the top with some of the action scenes from the first movie. Okay. It was worth $1.50. Was it worth seeing in the theater? No. I give it a solid B, better than average, because you still have the same elements as Zombieland. It's got some pretty funny jokes in it. Tennessee and Columbus play off of each other really well. The time they spend at the beginning of the movie where they kind of move into the White House is pretty entertaining. But the rest of it is kind of, nothing really exciting. I've kind of seen this before. They introduce a new kind of zombie that's harder to kill, but, if you just shoot it enough times, it eventually dies, so, it's not really that much of a threat. You just keep shooting until it's dead, I guess. I don't know. So, it's a B. It's a B movie. 3 out of 5, probably. 2.5 out of 5, maybe. Good enough for RedBox. So then we move on to Gemini Man. Now, I had high hopes for this movie. I like Will Smith. He's a good actor. Okay? I love Ang Lee. He brought us Brokeback Mountain. He brought a movie that none of you have seen called Lust and Caution, which is spectacular. And he made one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So I thought, a techno spy thriller action movie with Will Smith, directed by Ang Lee. That sounds fantastic. I knew it was a passion project of Ang Lee's. He's had the script for like 10 years or 15 or something ridiculous like that. So he's been waiting for the opportunity to make it. And then I saw it, and luckily, I only paid $1.50 at the RedBox, because trust me, anger would have ensued if I had paid $15 at the theater, plus another $15 worth of food to cram in my mouth, whilst watching the schlock that showed up on the screen. Now, there's all kinds of problems with this movie. It follows the usual trope of bad guy trying to get out of whatever bad job he was doing and go straight and be nice. Now, Will Smith plays a contract killer for the CIA, except they don't call it the CIA, they call it the DIA for some reason. And he's been killing people, and he's killed 120-something of them, and he's kind of over it, and he's having bad dreams and freaking out and gets a conscience. So he wants to retire. Okay. Seen it before. Whatever. And then we have the weird decision the government makes, which is always confusing. So the guy wants to retire, so what should we do? We should kill him. For no reason. He was going to be perfectly fine living in his little fishing hut, doing nothing. Making birdhouses or whatever he was going to do. But now, you done pissed him off because you sent a bunch of fodder out there for him to kill, because remember, he's your best professional assassin. So what do? You send a team of 5 guys. Whatever. Don't understand it. Don't make no sense. Whatever. Turns out there's a whole subplot going on here. Clive Owen plays this guy who I guess he runs this company called Gemini. They're like a private security firm, and they apparently are just doing whatever they want, unchecked by anyone. And so he's got this crazy idea where he's going to clone Will Smith and make a better assassin. Now, he's not cloning adult Will Smith. He's cloning baby Will Smith, right? So you got baby Will Smith running around somewhere. And Clive Owen's character, there are names for these people, but trust me, it does not matter. I don't know what any of their names are. They don't even mention them half the time. They just kind of like yell a lot. Whatever. So Clive Owen's character decides that if he clones Will Smith, he can raise the child as his own, teaching him how to be a better assassin who doesn't get bothered by things like ethics and moral dilemmas. Now, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, because he's still a human being. So he's still going to have a conscience, and he's still going to have all the same issues that anyone would have after they rack up body count of over 100, but whatever. He thinks this is a great idea. And so after all these regular Joes go and try to kill original Will Smith's assassin character, Clive Owen says, oh yeah, now we're sending him in. We're sending in Junior. That's the clone's name, is Junior. And Junior is horrifying to look at, I'm going to be honest. The CGI version of Will Smith from the Fresh Prince at Bel-Air years is a little hard to look at. It looks really weird. It's very kind of off-putting. You know, my wife was watching it, and I asked her later about the movie. She said, I couldn't get past the way the clone looked. It looked really awful. Took me completely out of the movie. I said, well, there you go. And, you know, that's a weird, I didn't understand that entire thing. You know, he's a one-of-a-kind assassin you've basically created, and you're just going to have him go chase another assassin who is him and is probably just as good, only with more experience. So the likelihood that your young guy is going to beat him is not very good. But, you know, whatever. He only cost $1 billion or whatever it cost to create him. And there's some, you know, some interactions with clone Will Smith and old Will Smith, and they talk, and of course the old, hey, he's not really your family, and blah, 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 blah. He finds out there's a reveal that he's a clone, and apparently this kid didn't know he was a clone, you know, whatever. Yeah, you know, there's some neat action scenes that don't make any sense. So there's some pretty cool stunt work with Junior on a dirt motorcycle, just basically kicking old Will Smith's ass all over the place. I mean, just runs over him, knocks him sideways, you know, does all this crazy stuff with him, and it looks pretty cool. But I'm thinking to myself, why are you doing that? He's trying to run over him with a dirt bike instead of just, you know, I don't know, killing him. You've got to have a knife on him somewhere, or at least pick up a rock, because most of the time he knocks Will Smith down. Will Smith's laying on the ground rolling around, and instead of getting off of the bike and going over and killing him, he revs the engine a whole lot and then tries to do a wheelie on him or something. What? Odd choice for a supposed professional assassin. I mean, I'm not in that business, but it seems to me what you want to do is eliminate the target as quickly as possible, not drag it out so they can get away. But you got to have a movie, so he drags it out and lets it get away. Now, as you can expect, things turn against Clive Owen, and his little clone baby boy junior guy decides to team up with old Will Smith towards the end of the movie in the final act, and then we get the super diabolical plan of Clive Owen, because it's mentioned, I think, in one sentence earlier, that he's also considering trying to create a super soldier. And so said super soldier is unleashed. Because again, you know, Gemini, the private security team, has all these highly trained dudes who are instantly just mowed down by both Will Smiths. No problem whatsoever. There's also a third character. There's a girl in this who's trying to, I don't know, watch Will Smith when he retires and just kind of hang out and make sure he doesn't do anything the government doesn't like. She tags along, shoots people, gets shot, does some talking. She's pretty much, you know, whatever. She's the foil, I guess. I don't really know what her purpose was, but, you know, she was all right. So, in the final reveal, right, here comes the super soldier, Ninja Express, and he's wearing this crazy body armor, and they're shooting him, and nothing's happening. He's dodging bullets, and all this wackiness, and he's kicking everybody all over the place. All three people fighting him, and he's whooping their ass, right? So eventually they just start shooting him with grenades, and with a grenade launcher. I think the girl has a grenade launcher rifle, and she just starts peppering him with grenades. And she hits him with like 5 of them, and he finally just kind of collapses. And then they take his mask off, and then it gets really creepy, kids, okay? Because then we have like 12-year-old Will Smith clone. And if you thought Fresh Prince clone looked a little creepy, just wait till you get a hold of 12-year-old Will Smith as the crazy genetically engineered weird, apparently, super soldier. Now, there is no mention of this, how he got this way, why they chose Will Smith to do this instead of some other random person. Why does he have to look like that? Is he going to grow up to look like that? What are his abilities? I don't know. He can like jump around and climb and stuff, and I don't know, man. He can do pretty much anything. He's like Deadpool, only he can get killed, apparently. Then you get this weird scene where young baby Will Smith is laying there dying, and they're talking to him, and he's not saying anything. So then they all just kind of stare at this kid until he dies. Okay. And then, of course, they got to confront Clive Owen, and, you know, dude, I don't even know what happened to him, to be honest. I don't remember. I don't remember if they killed him. Oh, yeah, they did. They did kill him, yeah. Younger version of Fresh Prince Will Smith is going to shoot him, and then old Will Smith says, no, don't do that. You don't want that stain on your soul, and killing unarmed people, even if they deserve it's not good enough. And so then, of course, Will Smith just takes a gun and shoots him. So he dies anyway right in front of the guy, which will still give him all kinds of psychological scars, but we're not worried about that, apparently. Then they kind of show, like 6 months later, and clone Will Smith is enrolled in college. Not joking. He's taken that incredibly dangerous skill set to a freshman dorm in some unspecified location. But not to worry, his dad, brother, uncle, friend, who knows what you want to call him, old Will Smith shows up with a whole envelope full of IDs and passports and birth certificates so he can have an identity. Question: how do you register for classes at a college without an ID or a birth certificate? You can't use the one from the guy who's still alive. That would be confusing. How did you even apply to the school? Why are you there? He says he's going to major in engineering. Fantastic, I guess. So are they just going to let him do whatever, I guess? He gets to live his life now? I don't know. That's pretty much all I got for that. So, Gemini Man, disappointing. Not the greatest effort from Ang Lee. Not sure if he wasn't able to do what he wanted to, or if he had to chop it up in the editing room, or whatever, but it's not very cohesive. It's not, the story doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a lot of weird, nonsensical things happening. But, you know, Will Smith is good in it. Clive Owen is good in it. He plays a good bad guy. And, you know, like I said, there's some cool action scenes with people shooting and chasing each other, and you know, that's kind of neat. It's not good enough to get this movie anything above a big old C. A C. C for cantankerous. And clearly not what the director originally intended. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's a 2 out of 5. So, there you go. That's the RedBox double feature for this episode. A look at Zombieland, DoubleTap, and Gemini Man. If you want to pick up one, I recommend Zombieland DoubleTap. Much better film than Gemini Man. However, if you just have to get your Will Smith on, go ahead and run Gemini Man. It's not going to be the worst 2 hours you're ever going to spend in your life. You probably won't remember much about it, but hey, whatever. So, if you have any other comments, make sure to leave them in the comments section below. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell to tell you when I have new content coming out. And in the end, I will see you again. Thanks.